So the Battlefield 6 beta is officially over. Sad days for all of us. And with that, I wanted to get together some of my thoughts and opinions and feelings for the beta and like the future of Battlefield. So these are some of my thoughts that myself and some of my homies have put together. We did everything. We maxed out the ranks, tested all the guns, tested all the modes, tested all the maps many times, and now it's kind of just time to put those all together in a one-stop shop sort of thought dump scenario. So let's get to it. All right, so we got to start off on a high note because honestly there's a lot here to talk about that's good for me personally. I feel like there was a lot that's really promising, and these are the things that I think will give us genuine hope for Battlefield 6. So starting off first, I wanted to talk about just like the gunplay overall, just like how the guns feel. Very good, very solid, very fun. The M4A1, probably my all-time favorite for the beta, just because like, oh man, you could pretty much do everything. It's a carbine, so you kind of have that like pokiness of a rifle, but you kind of have that like snappiness like of an SMG. It's kind of crazy. It's a little busted. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but overall, yeah, bro, weapons feel good. M4A1 was my favorite. The SMGs are little shredder babies. Carbines are strong, like I was just talking about. The DMRs are solid too. Gun sounds feel good, especially if you got war tapes on. Boy, I want to talk about the graphics and the immersion. I'm putting this in a pro category. I've heard otherwise, but for me, hey, beautiful visuals, good HUD. The HUD was good for me, and it's immersive if you're playing with the HUD on or off. I was doing a little bit of both just because I wanted to get like some thumbnail shots and stuff like that, and just to kind of see what it is. Bro, playing with the thumbnail off, oh yeah, we're back. I might have to become an amateur photographer or cinematographer or something, because them visuals are crazy. And then on top of that, like I was just talking about with the whole war tapes, audio, surround sound blending shit. I forget what the official term is, but all those combined, oh yeah, the graphics and immersion is there. It's top notch, bro. It's top notch. Obviously, it's not like the most groundbreaking thing on the planet, but for a Battlefield game, yeah, we're here on it for sure. It's good. I like it. It's good. And then I also kind of want to move on to the maps. Kind of goes into like hand in hand with the graphics and immersion. Again, across the board, I think they're enjoyable. I think there's different strengths and weaknesses per map, but for all the maps that we got for the beta, Empire State, Cairo, Liberation Peak, Iberian Offensive, I enjoyed all of them. There was no map that like I went to and I was just like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to play on it. Oh, why are we here? I was like, you know what? Yeah, it was wherever we're here, you know? Like I said, they all have their pain points, but they all have things that I would appreciate about them. And again, just for like the overall look and aesthetic for each of them, I can appreciate them for sure. I think the maps that we got are cool. We'll talk about a little bit more of that in a second, but overall across the board, I think the maps are pretty solid. Something that really surprised me that I'm really interested in and looking forward to is the like field spec slash like upgrade system. I feel like there is a lot of potential there. Like with each class, it felt very unique and like useful for the ones that we had for each class, you know, especially that like that UAV one for the recon, and then like all the other like little 1, 2, 3 level ups you get, bro. But that UAV, that joint's crazy, especially if you play like them smaller modes like TDM squad deathmatch. That thing is pretty much busted. Pretty crazy though. I'm very intrigued with this whole field upgrade system. I'm so excited to see what they do with that. I think it's like a good, I'm not gonna say middle ground because it doesn't feel like that, but I feel like it's like a good sort of offset from the specialist system, where it's like, yeah, you can kind of have like maybe you can have like a medic that's like super revive oriented or team play oriented, or you could have like a support class that's just super like gadget oriented or something. I don't know, you could definitely tailor your class to a specific way depending on how much they do with that system. So I'm very interested to see what's going on with that. Moving on from that, I want to talk about vehicles asterisks slash tanks. I feel like tanks are pretty strong. Tanks and like IFVs, I feel like they're pretty strong, pretty balanced so far. I mean, like obviously if you're like if you're like an infantry kid, you're just like out in the middle of the street doing jumping jacks or something, like you're gonna get blasted. They pretty much shred like the little jeeps. Tank on tank action is pretty solid, depending on like how World of Tanks you'll get. And you're definitely knocking helicopters out of the sky like it's nothing if they're low enough. But then again, like if you can't drive or you don't have infantry support, then the tank is just like a big ass target that's going to get blown up in 2 rocket shots anyway. So I feel like where the tanks are at, they're pretty good outside of a couple things that again we'll talk about later. But yeah, overall I'm liking the tanks. Moving on from that, there's bro, I kind of should talk about this a little bit earlier, but I gotta bring it up, bro. The drag system, oh my god, the drag system is so good, bro. I know the plan was to have it back in like Battlefield 5 times, but like it didn't happen for whatever reason. I am so glad it's here, bro. It makes everything so like more immersive. It makes it so much more like intense, especially if you're like a medic. If you're a medic, you like kind of do it pretty fast. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it more when you're not a medic because it's like a little bit more drawn out. You can drag them around a little bit more. It's so cool to like just drag your boys around the corner while like bullets are flying. You see the little blood trail. Oh, super cool mechanic. I can appreciate that too. It's great addition. And then on top of that, just want to talk about the character models and the skins and stuff like that. So we're starting off pretty good so far. We're starting off pretty good. And this is coming at the time where they just like released a 2042 Battlefield 6 rewards. We're getting that like OG engineer gas mask skin and the other little joint. Hey, so far we're looking pretty A1 on the skins. I'm just saying, character cosmetics looking pretty A1, so I'm happy about that. And then lastly, yeah, you know, stability, game runs well. Surprisingly, game runs well. I've got PC homies that played it, console homies that played it. Nothing, no real like major crashes outside of like some server stability stuff that we'll talk about in a second, but pretty much across the board it's been a pretty stable experience for like technical issues. And then lastly, like the fun factor, bro, it's just been a real fun time to play that game. I only got to play weekend 2 and I was itching at like from initial start time to close. I was just like, oh, I gotta get on, I gotta play. I was dreaming about it. I was in the bed just like, oh, Battlefield, running, shooting, flying. I needed it, bro. It was so good. I haven't really felt that way about a game in a while, so I'm glad to have had that experience on Battlefield of all games, because God knows we needed it. Jesus Christ. And now I kind of want to move on to like the hype section, where this is kind of like your mixed, overblown, sort of like polarizing elements. You could take it either way. So again, it's just hype, you know what I'm saying? First and foremost, we gotta talk about that goddamn shotgun. Everybody, if you've played a shooter game in the last 20 years, you know, bro, the shotgun is either overpowered or it's a glorified paperweight, right? This one was clearly overpowered. But overpowered in the video game sense, right? Obviously, a shotgun in real life, anywhere from 0 to probably, I'm not like a gun person, so I can't really give you the super specifics, but I'm gonna say anywhere from probably 0 to like 20, maybe even 30 meters, you're deleting motherfuckers. And not even mentioning you got like buckshot or the choke on or some shit like that. You're deleting motherfuckers, right? So clearly, a shotgun should be dicking on people within at the bare minimum 0 to 5 meters. You should be dicking on people. Now I get it can be kind of cheesy because it's kind of just like a point and click adventure in that scenario. And definitely the Battlefield 6 one, you're kind of one tapping people from pretty far out. So it definitely is overtuned for like gameplay balance purposes, but it is in line of what a shotgun should be doing to people, which I can appreciate, because I actually like when shotguns are strong, as cheesy as it is. But we're also talking about a game where you can snipe a nigga from 900 meters out and instantly kill him. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, so I really hope they don't just nerf the gun into the ground. But yeah, that shotgun was strong as hell. Speaking of which, moving from one end to another, so we're going from shotguns to snipers. Hey man, I had a good time sniping. I thought it was pretty fun. I know it's pretty divisive right now because the whole sweet spot mechanic is back, which some people don't really care for, some people hate, some people are like it's cool, whatever. I honestly don't mind it, especially with the whole like rainbow glint scenario where it's like, hey, you know, like it's like already seeing the sniper glint is like, oh shit, here we go. But then you see that rainbow glint, you're like, bro, hit the dirt, hit the dirt. He's one tap potential. You know what I'm saying? I be screaming that all the time, bro. Rainbow glint is here. Like, at least you got the information on the other end and you can kind of react to it before you're just like looking at the respawn screen waiting for a medic to come get you, right? So again, depending on who you are and how you feel, it can go either way. But me personally, I didn't really mind it too much. And then coming back to it again, them carbines, bro. Pretty much both of them M4s, that like the M4A1 and that like M417 or whatever, they were pretty much like across the board probably considered one of the strongest guns in the beta. They're pretty good, bro. I'm not gonna lie, they're very good. A critique that definitely came up that I seen, they can feel a little similar to like the ARs, because again they can kind of do everything but still have that like velocity of like an SMG almost, because they shoot real fucking fast. At least the M4A1 does. That motherfucker be spit. I feel like they definitely could go through a bit of a balanced run through, because to a certain degree it's like, why would you use the, what is it, like the M4A33 versus the M4A1 or the M417? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there definitely could be some more variance there, but again, that's a whole balance, thing. And then coming off of the guns, going back to sort of the map / immersion, we're going to talk about like the art style / color palette. Again, depending on who you talk to, depending on who it is, it's kind of got that like realistic but muted approach, you know, where it's like there's a lot of brown, there's a lot of green, you know, we in the desert, we in the Middle East type scenario. And for a lot of people, that's very and I've seen like comparisons to like Battlefield 1 and kind of Battlefield 5, where it's like super poppy, super flashy, very colorful, different colors and stuff like that. I feel like it could go both ways again, because a lot of that, like, dare I say, muted or like dull color scheme stuff definitely works for like immersion, but it lacks in like vibrancy and kind of the like, ooh, pretty colors, shapes and colors scenario, right? Which I kind of feel like Battlefield can have both. You know, not every map has to be like the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 fucking water park funland or like ice cream park, you know what I'm saying? But it also doesn't have to be like a hell let loose kind of like brown gray mud fest, you know what I'm saying? I think it can have a little bit of both. And then lastly, one of the things I wanted to talk about, at least like kind of gameplay wise, is suppression. I feel like suppression was a little misconstrued, dare I say, in this game, and at least in the beta. Definitely, if you've seen the meme where it's like the homie has the rocket launcher and he shoots it and he doesn't kill somebody, but it's just like the suppression enemy +5. I feel like suppressing the Battlefield again is one of those scenarios where, depending on who you ask, I feel like it should do more than less, especially if they're trying to mimic a scenario where you're like supposed to kind of keep your head down. Yeah, I just feel like it was a little inconsistent in this. Like, one, I didn't feel like I was being suppressed, and two, I never felt like I was suppressing people. I think I could probably count on my hand how many times I like visually either tried to do it or got feedback that I was doing that without me accidentally suppressing someone. So if you ask me, I would want to see more from suppression, you know, maybe even go back to that kind of like Battlefield 3 sort of like visual feedback aesthetic. I don't really think it should hamper your gameplay too much, but maybe like, again, like a visual scenario or something like that. Me and my boys was talking, was like, you know, a lot of people complain about sniper glint and snipers and stuff like that. Well, a good counter to that is if you got a fat ass LMG or an assault rifle or something, throw bullets his way, and the suppression mechanics should like at least make that motherfucker be blurry or something, like, you know, something where you can't just have motherfuckers rain on top of you and have no repercussions. If you shoot back, you just like die, right? Which I think in the beta there was supposed to be a scenario where like if you're suppressed you can't heal or something like that. But again, it just feels so minuscule, especially for like how fast Battlefield is. It's like, all right, well, if he suppressed me, I'll just run behind the corner real quick and then go heal. You know, it's one of those scenarios. So I definitely think suppression could be a little bit more tuned up, I think. And then the last sort of like gameplay mechanic I want to talk about in this section is the destruction versus Levolution. Levolution was like a system in Battlefield 4 where, outside of the like natural battlefield destruction that you have, blowing up buildings, all kinds of stuff like that, rubble, all that, there was like one big sort of like map wide event that happened. Think of like the siege of the Shanghai Tower falling, or like the dam breaking, that type of scenario. I do like Battlefield 6's like current model of like tactical destruction, because you can deface buildings and all kinds of stuff, and it's really nice. But it was really cool to have one scenario where you could always kind of expect the thing to happen, which again, I don't know who you ask, can go one way or the other. Because even if you ask me, let's take Siege of Shanghai for example in Battlefield 4. I love the tower. I thought the tower was awesome. But as soon as you blow that bitch up and it turn into a pile of mush, I don't even want to be over there. So it's like, it's a tough one, but I appreciate where we're at right now. And then my last two sections for like the hype area, I wanted to firstly talk about the vehicles. Again, depending on who you ask, is mixed. I know I just said the tanks were a little strong, but again, kind of overall, as like a vehicle person, because I'm kind of a vehicle person, I'm a little disappointed I didn't really get too much transport stuff in the beta, so I'm hoping to see more of that in the full game. The tank overall was good. Felt a little weird to drive. I felt like it was like a weird like momentum system that you couldn't really control too much. Helicopters, oh my fucking god, dude. First and foremost, them motherfuckers take no damage. No damage. I'm getting locked on by 80,000 motherfuckers, and I'm taking one rocket and I'm already gone. What do you want? Like, come on, bro. I only have so many flares, bro. I pop my flare, I'm already getting locked on, and I'm under the fucking, what's that like on Liberation Peak, where it's like the like little mountain area with like all the fog on the bottom. I'm down here trying to be a little shark. I'm still getting locked on, bro. My flares are gone. What do you want me to do? I don't know, dude. I feel like helicopters pretty much all around could use like another pass, because they just feel weak as hell. I didn't really get to use the jet too much. One, because people was hawking it, and two, when I would get into the sky, I felt like I was going against fucking Tom Cruise. So I can't really speak on that too much. And then for like the Jeeps, the transport vehicles, whatever, the light transport trooper character vehicles. First and foremost, I missed the Humvee. Can I say that? I just missed the Humvee. I want my Humvee back. I miss my baby. I need her. Secondly, I feel like it was all right. I feel like it was pretty much did what it was supposed to do. I kind of feel like my homeboys get shot out of that very fast, which is why again I missed the Humvee and all that. But maybe we can get that later. I don't know, but I feel like the troop carrier wasn't too bad. And then lastly, for my hype scenario, or my hype section, I want to talk about the modes, the game modes that we've been killing for the past 2 weeks. Again, overall, I thought they were fun. Good wide selection of big and small modes. Like I said, hey, classic Battlefield, Rush, Conquest. Someone even throw Breakthrough in there now. And then even Domination, King of the Hill, Squad Deathmatch. I love those. I'm gonna sing those praises to the end of the time, because I feel like they don't get enough love. Again, each one has their own set of issues depending on who you ask, depending on what you're looking for, but you're on my channel, so I'm going to tell you right now, really is Rush and Breakthrough that suffer the most, and that's really because of the map size, which I think is pretty much a common consensus across the board for a lot of people. The maps just ain't like big enough or wide enough, or at least the sections that they're using don't have enough sort of leeway for people to do too much. Like there might be one or two like flank routes that you can take, and if that gets shut down, then it's pretty much back to the meat grinder in the main section. I feel like there should be a little bit more that you can do, but again, there's only so much that they can do, because the maps generally are smaller and tighter, and then the sections that they're using are just tighter as well. And that kind of bleeds over a little bit into the smaller modes, Squad Deathmatch, Domination, King of the Hill. Since like the maps again are kind of cut smaller and sliced thinner, you run into again those classic spawn issues that a lot of people always complain about, which I'm not gonna lie, bro, I kind of sympathize with the devs on that one. I get bad spawns, I get it, bro, I get it, but I'm sure doing spawn logic is just like a hellscape, bro. I'm sure it is. So I don't like to give too much shade on that, because I know it's hard and a lot of people just talk shit, but yeah, bro, it can be a scenario where again, where the map sizes are the way they are, it definitely makes other modes suffer. So again, fun across the board. I'm glad we have all these options, but some map mode combinations are gonna be rough. We talked about the hype stuff, the kind of middle of the ground stuff, but we got to keep it real. There's also some things in that beta that was not fun to experience at all. And some things that were just not fun or not good that could be tweaked. So this is kind of the doubts, the nasty section, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that they should be able to fix before launch or fix in that post-launch window. So let's get to it. Starting off first, and we coming in hot with this one. This motherfucking P18 pistol needs a buff. Please buff the P shooter, bro. I feel like I'm shooting motherfuckers with med packs, bro, when I use that damn gun. It should be a sidearm secondary option. I should be able to whip that motherfucker out and go crazy. Oh my God. There should be no reason why I'm hitting someone and I'm pulling the P18 out and I'm still not finishing them off, bro. That's crazy. P18 needs a buff. Secondly, this one, again, I could have probably put this in the hype section, but I feel like LMGs were like a little underpowered. There were some scenarios where like I would catch like 4 or 5 people, but like I'm already in that bitch ripping. Right? But I feel like in like a head up scenario, especially because like Battlefield 6, there's not really a lot of scenarios right now where you can kind of just like get set up, have like a machine gun nest and go crazy. You're kind of moving and grooving and doing your thing. And maybe this is just me being ass, but I feel like in a lot of those scenarios, the LMG just like gets outperformed a lot. So wasn't really the greatest experience, but I don't know. That's kind of like a middle of the road one for me, but I put it more in like this one because Next up, this damn thermobaric grenade launcher, whatever the fuck, bro. This thing is way too strong. Way too strong. It does way too much for a gadget, bro. First and foremost, you're burning, so you're taking damage over time, which will probably kill you, to be honest. More often than not, it'll probably kill you if you're not like at full health, right? Kind of disorients you. You can't really move. Like, you get like a little stun effect. You can't reload. I don't think you can reload. You can't ADS. Bro, you can't do nothing when you get hit with that thermal detonator shit, whatever. Bro, I could not stand that thing, bro. It's way too strong. And you can just like pop that motherfucker and whoa, I got a kill. What up? It needs to change. It needs to change. I'm not saying nerf it into the ground, but it just do way too much. It do way too much. Again, classic Battlefield system. Knifing and melee feels janky as hell. I mean, they had the system kind of good with Battlefield 1. I'm hoping maybe with more melee stuff it works out, but yeah, knifing felt like very inconsistent. Class symbols, why did y'all change that? Why? What was the reason? Why did you need to do that? You've had great class symbols for like 4 or 5 games. No need to do. I don't understand. I hate them. I don't like them. I think they're ugly. They're hard to kind of differentiate. Assault is like the easiest one. Recon, what the fuck? Support, what the hell? NG, what the hell? Can we change those? We're probably not, but can we change those? Don't like them. I got this one a lot from mainly my boys and stuff like that, but lot of no likey the menu / UI system. And I've seen this a lot online too, where a lot of people say it's got that like that Call of Duty UI, that Netflix UI, that Hulu UI, which I can see and I can agree with. I personally don't really care too much. That's just me. But I can agree with the sentiment where it's like, hey, this shit's ugly. Can we change it? I wanted to throw it in there, because my boys have echoed it a lot, and I've seen people echo it a lot. So UI, which speaking of UI, bro, what the fuck is up with them settings, bro? Them settings, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. You could do a lot with the settings, but boy, come on, man. First and foremost, it's janky. I'll go into like the controller settings to try to change something, and then I'll press a button. I'm getting thrown all the way back to like the first menu of the settings. Why? What are we doing? Oh my god, that was annoying as shit. Settings needs to be updated, adjusted. Again, sticking with like the menus and like settings and things like that. First and foremost, customization. With that whole like post-game lobby migration type scenario, why can you not customize your loadout or whatever? Like, you're just kind of giving people a reason to back out, especially because sometimes the matchmaking in that can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You might as well like let us do some stuff in it. It might just be a beta thing, but wanted to bring that up as well. This one I kind of could have put in like the hype section, but I put it here. With like the weapon customization, I like it, but like the weapon stats page, I feel like definitely could be fleshed out some more. Honestly, I felt like the stats were a little more confusing than helpful. There's like, I found myself asking way too many questions of like, well, what does this actually change? Is this like a good thing? What actually does this mean? I feel like that could be fleshed out a lot more than what it is. I can appreciate what it's for, but definitely needs to pass on that for sure. Oh man, this one I had such a problem with the like party connectivity. I mainly played with 4 people the whole time. It was a severe issue of like staying together as a party between games, bro. Somebody wasn't making it to the next game, somebody wasn't loading in. Literally like every other game, somebody like, I'm not loading in. Oh, I'm not here. I didn't make it. I'm still at the main. Like, that was a serious issue. Killed the fuck out the game for me a little bit, bro. Like that, above all else, that's gotta get fixed, bro. If you're playing with more than you're by yourself or somebody else, y'all gotta fix that party system. That's just crazy. We talked about this a little bit again, but again, rush and breakthrough that map design, it kind of kills some of those map mode combinations just because of how the maps are. Specifically want to talk about like Siege of Cairo. That map definitely suffers a bit, especially like that first point. Ooh, yeah, it gets a little nutty on that first point, bro. So map mode combination could be shaken up, but again, it really depends on the map design. Post editing CJ. Speaking of map design here, I really want to talk about the rooftop glitch scenario that's been happening on Siege of Cairo and I think Iberian Offensive, bro. They gotta patch those out. That like literally kills the flow of the game because there's like a squad or two just up there like doing God knows what. That was so annoying. Please patch that out. Thank you. Need to look at that. Again, we talked about it a little bit. Spawn logic and team deathmatch. Again, definitely could use some work, but again, probably a lot of the heavy lifting will be done with the map design. There's only so much you can do when you play on a thin slice. So I gotta work on that. Seen this echoed a couple times throughout my boys. No like faction unique vehicles. A lot of people felt like it was lazy or that takes away from the immersion or the experience, which I kind of hope full game, full launch, that's a little different. But hey, if not, y'all need to work on that for sure. Speaking of vehicles, that fucking that helicopter cockpit, you go on like first person, you can't see nothing. It's a bunch of bars and shit on your screen. The helicopter bars in the way, I can't see anything. What am I looking at, bro? What's the screen? I just stayed in third person the whole time and then just like blind fire the fuck out rockets because like, what am I looking at in that first person cockpit, bro? Crazy. Whatever you gotta do to make that more clear, do it, because that was horrible. That was bad. And then again, lastly, just want to talk about again those network issues, bro. Mainly a lot of talks about rollback connection, getting killed around corners, the usual. Do that. Not a good experience, especially in a first person shooter game. Not a good experience at all. We need to fix that. So hey, look, gotta keep it real, gotta have it constructive, you know what I'm saying? Everything ain't all peaches and cream with the beta, you know, but I feel like a lot of these can be fixed either right before launch or early launch, post launch, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of these are fixable. We've already have like confirmation of like more maps coming and bigger maps coming, so like that should probably alleviate some of the stresses of a couple of these in the bad section. And then I feel like the network stuff and all that, that's just going to be like a constant battle, but we'll see. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, I want to talk about just kind of like some wish list stuff, request stuff, hope for the future type scenarios, just because, you know, it's a game. I want to express my thoughts and my boys' thoughts and things like that, and maybe this will echo with you and you'll have some agreements as well. First and foremost, we need a server browser for like official sections. I understand the custom search and I understand they're going to do server browser for like portal stuff, but wouldn't it just be a better scenario to have a server browser for Portal and official servers? I'm like, I don't understand what the whole scenario of not doing that is. I feel like having custom search is just like overlooking the solution you already had since like Battlefield 3. I don't understand what that is for. Custom search is nice. You could literally do that in server browser. So I don't know. That just don't really make sense. Can we get that for official modes as well? I don't know, but hey, throwing it out there. Talked about it a little bit in the bad section, but a more in-depth gunsmith stats. Listen, bro, I'm not saying you gotta make it an encyclopedia when I put a fucking red dot on the M4, but bro, give me the rundown, bro. Maybe make it a little bit dummy proof, just to kind of, you know, everybody's not a gun nut. Motherfuckers don't know what velocity mean. Niggas ain't reading nowadays, so you gotta make it a little more digestible, you know what I'm saying? Which, speaking about the guns, we need, I'm sure this will be like a thing, but hopefully more attachments, you know, per gun, and multiple sights per like magnification for preference, because there's a lot of times where like, yeah, I would love to use it 3 times or 4 times, but the sight picture on that bitch is ugly. So no, I'm going back to the hollow 1.25, the 8 times. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, give us some options, more options, yada yada yada. You know, I feel like that would be great for everybody. Which, speaking of more options, vehicle customization, I hope y'all bringing it. I feel like y'all did a great job with Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5. I hope y'all bringing it on that level, because yeah, that was goated. We need that back. We need that back. We talked about this before as well, but just kind of add a little bit more to the suppression mechanic. Me personally, hey, if you want to put out the pitchforks, do your thing, but me personally, I think it would be more beneficial to have something like that in the repertoire. Also saw this echoed a bit for my boys, and I agree with the sentiment as well. I feel like the announcer voice lines and like the soldier voice lines could be a bit louder. I feel like a lot of times that shit gets drowned out throughout the game. And like, yeah, I guess you could be like, well, just turn down the master volume or like the sound effects volume, but I feel like you really shouldn't have to do that. But wanted to bring that up as well. Seeing this echoed a little bit as well, but I feel like the respawn system is a little weird. It kind of favors you just like dying and immediately giving up, which as a medic main I can't fucking stand, because people will sit there and then I feel like I have to go res them, and then they just give up on me, and now I'm ass out in the middle of a field and I die. Please make it so where it's like, hey, if you want to respawn, you gotta wait a little bit longer, so it's probably best for you to hold on and keep yourself alive for the medics. I understand some motherfuckers ain't resin. Medics, res medics, please res. What are we doing? And then lastly, just like listen to the feedback. That's my last request. Just listen to the feedback. I feel like a lot of people are giving a lot of good feedback out here. Obviously there's gonna be some dickheads, you know, you can mac blast them. I will be mac blasting any dickheads that's over here as well, but listen to the feedback. I feel like EA, DICE, Battlefield, whoever, I feel like y'all got a real good thing going for this game, especially after the 2042 fiasco. You're pretty much hitting the ground damn near running. You might have tripped a couple times, but with this beta, you're pretty much running. You're coming in for the landing, and it's like you got it's coming. You just gotta hit the tarmac and keep it pushing. Listen to the feedback, implement it to the best as possible. I know y'all got a vision. I know y'all doing y'all thing, and it seems to be mostly in line with what the fans want as well, new and old. I'm seeing a lot of new people want to join the game and a lot of old people coming back and having a good time, so I think that's a good sign, especially for a AAA studio. I feel like that's what they're always looking for, new people and old people. So hey, do what you gotta do. Yeah, so again, just some key takeaways. TLDR, gunplay, visuals, maps, the core Battlefield experience shines pretty well. It was pretty much stable for a Battlefield game. It was fun, delivers the Battlefield moments, and it definitely defined what a Battlefield game is in the series. Some of the hype and toss-up stuff, some of the mechanics, some of the weapons, shotguns, carbines, suppression, snipers, risk being very overblown, controversial, you know, depending on who you ask. Maps, scenarios, map mode combinations, depending on who you ask, is yay or nay. Doubts, concerns, UI, party, matchmaking, connectivity issues. Please fix those. Please fix those. Lack of faction uniqueness. It just drags down the experience, and it's kind of like a death by 1,000 cuts scenario. Fix that if you can. And lastly, takeaway, it feels like a Battlefield game, bro. Like, and honestly, in like the best way possible. But whether it's hope or hype, it all depends on how DICE sticks to landing at launch and post-launch. So that's all I got for you guys today. I had a great time. I do not know what I'm going to do with myself September. Dude, between Battlefield and Arc Raiders coming out pretty much by October, it's going to be a hard month for me. So pray for your boy. But that's all I got. What do you guys think about the Battlefield 6 beta? Did you play it? Did you have a good time? Let me know in the comments down below, all that good stuff. And I'll be sure to catch y'all in the next one.